Welcome to Innovision FM. Now, I should get some water here. Okay, I'm going to show you something. This is a fake eye. If you've been looking at the news, local and national, you will know that a patriot, a father, a son, and a supporter of Trump was shot in the eye and killed this Friday. And it was a meeting that I was going to go to, but I said, well, let me just hang back, because the last time they had one here was in July the 19th, and it was totally out of control. The Antifa, so-called Black Lives Matter, which the money never goes to Black lives, it just goes to support the white guys and women in the Democratic Party, as they never do anything for the poor Black community or otherwise. They just represent them and keep them in poverty. If you've noticed, most blue states that have a large Black population, most of the population is in poverty, and the left really does nothing to uplift that community. They just feed off of them and say, hey, come around every 4 years, and they vote for them. Oh, and the reason I show one of my false eyes, you can read in my book, 6 Shades of Blindness. Go to Amazon, pre-order it, and give us a review. I describe to you how it feels to have an eye ripped out of your head by doctors. I mean, my parents paid to have the doctors rip my eye out of my head, and you can read all the graphics about what it feels like to have a actual eye ripped out of your head, because I give a pretty detailed description of the before and aftermath of that procedure. So if you're interested in knowing how doctors can blind you, then do experimental operations on you, then rip an eye out of your head, well, you can go there. But this guy who was only armed with tear gas had this left-wing Antifa antagonist shoot him in the eye, and then he died an hour later. All right, and I can tell you firsthand, it's very painful when the doctor rips an eye out of your head. This guy only had 1 hour of that kind of pain. So I'm coming at a different perspective, a different way, because since I know some of these things, so I'm coming at it at a different way. And the news media keeps saying it wasn't Antifa. It wasn't Antifa. They're mostly peaceful protesters on the left side. And if you remember, this seems to be their MO. They pretend to be a security guard, and it's coming up now that Channel 9, who hired this, who contracted this security guard. So was it a contract killing? Because they were posting on their website how they're going to kill one of Trump's supporters. And at the protest, there was I think it was an African-American man wearing a shirt saying, "Black guns matter. Black guns matter." And he was leaning up against the fence. He was telling the women who were inside the fence how he was going to rape them, do all kinds of things. This is not me. This is the left. This is what Biden and Harris represents. That's who they represent. They point the finger at you, and there's 3 fingers pointing back at them. This is what they represent. They're a bunch of criminal banditos who said that they're on the side of right when they're on the side of wrong. So if you vote for them, this is what you're voting for. And hey, some people are just cool with that. Some people are just, hey, mobsters. And Kyle Clark of Channel 9 News, on his web page, you can go up there and you can see where he writes, "Come on down to Denver. Denver is so nice and so peaceful." Well, Denver is a shithole now because of Michael Handcock and Jared Polis around the Capitol, around the governor's house, and Polis with his lazy ass saying that he doesn't know about Denver politics. Well, I thought you were the governor of Colorado, not just the governor of Boulder, Colorado, where you reside. There's a governor house down there for you. You want to be the governor? Well, be the governor of all people, not just Boulder people. When you do your decrees on everybody wearing a mask, that's the only time you seem to be everybody's governor. But when it comes to paying attention to both sides, you're only a left-wing agitator who hides behind, well, you don't hide behind Hancock. Hancock probably hides behind, behind the developers that he signed over his soul and heart to, and says, well, no matter what happens in Denver, I'll just put a pillow over my head and pretend that I don't see what's happening. And every time I go to a Martin Luther King event and I hear his spewing his stupidness, yes, spewing his stupidness, it makes you wonder, like, I came here to celebrate the life of Martin Luther King, not to celebrate some idiot. When Wellington Webb would do the events, he never spewed his ugliness about the other party. He just spoke about the man. But this idiot, Michael Handcock, he has to spew his political beliefs when it's a celebration of Martin Luther King. Don't get me started on that. But anyway, so the only way you're going to find out the truth, because the Paul, I call him Paul P, the police chief, he's bought and owned by the city council of Denver. Paul Pazin, that's his name. And so he's hiding out. You won't hear nothing from Michael B Handcock because he's hiding out. And you won't hear nothing from Jared Polis because supposedly Jared Polis doesn't know anything about Denver politics because he's only the governor for Boulder. So he's hiding out. The only place you're going to hear the truth is from 710 KNUS radio. That's 710 KNUS radio. And you can listen to some of the podcasts today on Peter Boyles' show from 5 to 8 o'clock. Interspersed, they'll cut out all the commercials and you can hear the truth about this hired gun of Channel 9 to kill one of Trump's supporters. This is their MO. They wait until afterwards, then they start throwing names. And you got to remember, patrons, there's a saying that when I was a kid, sticks and stones will break your bones, but names will never hurt you. And so this now shot in the eye, deceased man, he let what they were saying get to him. And so the guy with the Black Guns Matter and his partner, the security guard who doesn't have a license with the city and county of Denver, he doesn't even have a license to be a security guard, but he was hired by 9 News, KUSA News. He was contracted through their company to protect one of the reporters. And now they say they come gunned up every time they send out one of the reporters. Judy Hayton, who does a show, is the Chuck and Julie show at 3 o'clock. You can find them on YouTube, Chuck and Julie. And you can also, chuckandjulie.com, chuckandjulieshow.com. She says, if you had to take out a gunned up bodyguard, don't go in those areas. But supposedly, at first, they were saying, well, we always take gunned up security. But you keep hearing them saying, gun control, gun control. Well, it looks like this guy didn't even have a CCW. Now, he was a good enough shooter to shoot this Patriot in the eye and kill him. Yeah, he was a good enough shooter to shoot him in the eye and kill him after the Patriot released some gas, some pepper spray. So this unlicensed, probably doesn't even have a CCW license, was just there for one reason only. And how deep are the pockets of 9 News? Because the family is going to come back and sue KUSA News, and you can bet your last dollar they're going to want this to be out of the news circle real quickly, because they are at fault for hiring. And there was a tattoo on this guy's wrist. So who vetted this guy? Did anybody at KUSA News vet this person to find out who he was, or was he just one of the boys, just like Ken Clark is one of the boys who's always spewing his stupidness on his Twitter account? So I want to know what you guys think. The news is, they're not saying it was a Patriot Muster group that was there, right? The news won't say it, won't give you the full news. The Denver Post won't give you the full news. Channel 9 certainly won't give you the news. I don't know about Channel 7, Channel 4, Fox 31. Oh, even they're like watering down the news. So people, you have to go to another location to get real news, because let me show you again. Let me show you again. Like my fake eye, they're fake news. They are fake news. And it's time to wake up, people. Just like in Spike Lee, who he's a left-wing agitator as well, and propaganda person. Like he said in his 1984 movie, School Days, wake up. Wake up. So it was interesting. You know, I had to wait to get the full news from Stefan Tubbs, Peter Boyles, Julie Hayton, Randy Corporon, also Kim Monson. Her show is on KLZ radio from 6 until 7. You'll get the truth from her. You got a little bit of the truth from KHOW. Randy, I think her name is O'Connor. I forgot her name. She's off this week. So there's a GoFundMe for the Patriot that got shot in the eye and killed. There's a GoFundMe. If you can find his name, the only way you can find it, I guess you have to go to KNUS radio, and you would hear them mention his name, because I was trying to look for it, and Google is doing a very good job of submerging what happened in Denver at the Civic Center Park this past Saturday, the 10th, and it happened at 3:37 in the afternoon. 3:37. And if this guy was a real security guard, if they went through training, they know you do not use deadly weapon when someone sprays you with pepper spray. You do not use deadly weapon, deadly force when you were sprayed with with pepper spray. And he didn't have on anything to identify him as a security guard. If he was there to protect one of the reporters, why didn't he walk that reporter to the car and leave the location? No, he came back because he was one of the agitators, one of the left-wing Antifa agitators that Channel 9 KUSA hired to kill a Trump supporter. Or we can say allegedly, but the man is dead and this man is arrested. Now they're going to charge him with first-degree murder. That means they have to prove that it was premeditated. They're going to have to prove that it was premeditated. Now I don't know how that's going to go because it's very hard to prove something is premeditated. But you can look at his website if they don't scrub it and get rid of it. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see how they're going to prove that it was a premeditated, based on the mindset of this man and his social media that says all over the place that he was with Antifa. He was a supporter of the left wing, the radical left wing group, Antifa. And so there you go. Like Malcolm X said when John F. Kennedy was killed, the chickens have come home to roost. So Denver, Colorado, the chickens have come home to roost because you have you have elected such radical left-wing people like Jared Polis, who spent $23 million, to get into office so he can put on his socialist, Marxist agenda to all the people of Colorado, regardless of if they want it or not. His famous line is, "I don't want it. I don't want it." that's Polis' famous line. "I don't want it." Okay, well, he's giving it to you guys without Vaseline. Us here in Colorado. So I couldn't find my
comment section. Tag friends button. Share to group button. Formats button. Creative tools.
I couldn't
button. Flip camera.
find my headphones.
Flashlight chooser. Invite button. Invite to go live with. Comment button. Finish button. Finish comment. Invite
So
to go live with. Invite button.
The people that will be joining us, if Facebook is not
formats button. Comment section.
submerging this,
Tag friends button. Live.
I like to get your comments below, because it usually shows me who's watching
Flip camera. Flashlight chooser.
after
Invite to go live with. Comment.
I go off.
Finish button.
So tell me what you think. I'll put this on YouTube and see if they submerge it too. I'll put it on channel 56 Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. and we'll see how fast the story dies down. Now they're going to have a debate with Hickenlooper, who said that he's going to end homelessness. Oh, if you get a chance, watch the movie Denver in Decay. It's on YouTube. You can watch it for free. Denver in Decay. Stefan Tubbs, he produced it. It showed Hickenlooper hypocritical stance when he said, "We're going to end homelessness. We're going to raise $14 million, and that money's going to disappear. Then we're going to hand it over to Mayor B Handcock. Now he wants to raise $41 million, and he's already paying one of his cronies $1 million to oversee it. Now he moved him to another thing where he has no qualifications." But you'll see all the names of those people, and as they're singing, it's going to be a pajama party because the check has dropped in his bank account where he's making $1 million, and insiders say that he doesn't even show up for work. He's taking his de Janeiro vacations with that $1 million a year that he's making for doing absolutely nothing but just being a friend of Michael B Handcock. But go see Denver in Decay. It will tell you the names of the people and all that stuff. And it'll tell you that Hickenlooper said, "Well, you didn't really think we're going to end homelessness. It was just a promotional thing we were doing." And now you see, every time the government says they're going to do something and they want bigger government, it makes it worse. When they said that they wanted to support women who had children outside of wedlock, who the dad ran away, calling it welfare, more women say, hey, this is a free right. We can have sex, we can kill our babies, we can have babies, and the government will pay us. So it promoted more single moms and more deadbeat dads who wouldn't either stick around or wouldn't support their children. Because they said, well, the government's going to do it. And these idiots who decided that they could be single moms and they don't need a man, they fell for it. So Johnson, President Johnson, he put a good one on us. It was only 25% of black families that were single parent households back in '64. He implemented this, it flipped. Now it's 75% of black women that are single moms. He did a good job. Democrats do a good job of wrecking a society with their Marxist, communist ideals. And yes, Biden, it's not just an ideal, because your ideal that you said is just an ideal just got one of our patriots shot in the eye and killed this Saturday. And when you said in the debate, it's just an ideal, Sleepy Joe, Jim Crow Joe, you're a liar, and so is your running mate who wants to be the next president, Harris. You're both liars. So anyway, I'm going to put this out there, and hopefully it'll stay out there long after this, and we'll see what the settlement is going to be from the family who's going to sue Channel 9 in civil court, and more information will come out, because they don't really want this to go to court. They're going to sue, and they're going to settle outside of court, because they don't want it to go to court. Believe me, they don't want it to go that route, because that'll show who the players are, and that KUSA hired this contract killer to kill this patriot. Well, I could say allegedly, right? But it's all going to come out, but they're going to hope that it's so far out there, like several months later, that we will forget. But hopefully this video will be there and will remind you what Michael B Handcock is about, Jared Polis. Let me tell you about this. Michael B Handcock, I think it was in 2017, his policy allowed this 19-year-old illegal to get out of jail in December, because they released him before ICE came to get him. In February, at the light rail, this bandito, who was supposed to be deported, him and his friend shot and killed a 32-year-old man at the light rail station going to work. Michael the B Handcock, the blood is on your hands. Then, just this year, Jared Polis, who's only the governor of Boulder, he released a criminal earlier because of the virus that everybody's supposed to be so afraid of. President Trump had it, survived it. Johnson and over in England, he had a rough bout at it. He survived it, but this left-wing group will try to convince you that you get the virus and it's a death sentence. They're liars, and they get you all shivering in your boots who believe it. And I know people who are shivering in their boots because they believe Polis and they believe Handcock. And I have to keep telling these people every day, get some balls. I don't know, whatever. But anyway, I forgot to tell about Polis. So he had he released this prisoner, and he went and killed a 21-year-old mother because of his policies. I don't know how these people sleep at night. I guess they signed a piece of paper saying, if you take our money, if we get you in this position, you have to cut off your conscience. You have to make policies that will cause destruction in the community. and you have to turn off your conscience and go to sleep because we're paying you good money. And we got you in. Polis doesn't need the money, but we'll put you in power so you can control people through Marxist, left-wing ways. So anyway, we'll see if Zuckerberg, tells his cronies, delete my account. We'll see how long this stays up. All right.
Finish button.
God bless. Oh, go check out my book, 6 Shades of Blindness, where I tell you in graphic matters how it is to have your eye ripped out by doctors under anesthesia, but you have a week's worth of pain after they rip out your eye. This guy only had 1 hour. I had it 1 week.
Finish
And I lived to talk about it. God bless you. Intervision FM, 24 hours a day. This is Johnny J signing off.